This is FBC News. I'm Amrita Priyadarshini. In tonight's bulletin, Fiji Airways flight delays causes frustration and disappointment. Consultations on development plans to start tomorrow. And FTUC says Commission of Inquiry into Fiji will have serious consequences. Delayed Fiji Airways flights from yesterday morning have resulted in a young woman missing out on a lifetime opportunity to meet the Queen and receive her Young Leaders Award. She is among hundreds of other passengers who are frustrated and disappointed with the national airline for the flight delays. Watisoni Rekandroka reports.
Alicia Bano's Fiji Airways flight from Nandi to Sydney was cancelled after more than 3 hours delay. Organisers of the Queen's Young Leaders Awards then managed to book her for the Nandi to Brisbane flight at 8:15 this morning, but it has also been delayed.
We went there to the airport at 5:15 and I was the third person at the counter again, and once we got to the counter we were told that the flight's being delayed to 9 p.m. tonight, which means I missed the award ceremony in London, and also because it's an evening flight and then the connecting flight would be much later, I need a transit visa for Australia, which I don't have.
Bano is among 60 other young people from around the world who are to receive the Young Leaders Award from the Queen at Buckingham Palace tomorrow evening, missing out on the event. She will raise her disappointment with the airline CEO.
For me, the really important thing was getting to Australia and then meeting my connecting flight. Waiting there for 2 hours, nobody comes to attend to you, and all they do is say, here's a $10 voucher. I really didn't need that $10 voucher. I needed somebody to tell me, okay, this is a connecting flight you can get on, or, this is the route you can take.
Australian media also report that Fiji Airways passengers waiting at the Brisbane airport are also calling for answers from airline authorities, as some of them have missed their vacation and one family a funeral. Some passengers have been at the airport for 3 days now.
When we were at the airport yesterday waiting, there were people waiting with us, and they said they've had flights delayed from Friday. So if flights are being delayed from Friday to Saturday, from Saturday to Sunday, I don't know if they're going to tell me, oh, here, we'll put you on this flight and I'm here. And it's really not happening.
Fiji Airways manager public relations Shane Hussein told FBC News the delays of the flight in the last 2 days were due to a pilot falling ill and one aircraft needing mechanical attention. Hussein says Fiji Airways put safety as their first priority. The issues have been resolved and flights should be back to normal tomorrow. The airline is apologizing to affected customers. Watisoni Rekandroka, FBC News.
Public consultations for the formulation of the 5-year and 20-year development plans will begin tomorrow. The public is invited to give their input regarding economic and social development in their areas. Akasita Tale has more.
The Fijian government is embarking on the formulation of a development plan for the next 5 and 20 years. This will set out medium and long-term goals, strategies and programs for growth and sustainable development. The public consultations will be an opportunity to hear from all Fijians.
We urge people to come and participate, give their submissions. No submission is too silly or too small. Tell us what you think. So different villages, different areas in Fiji, in the rural, maritime areas, a very wide public consultation process.
Organizations including community groups and civil society are also invited to the consultations. Separate meetings will also be held with large non-governmental organizations at a later date.
Of course, the smaller ones are all welcome to come and make their voices heard in the public consultations. And it's in fact, we're sending out teams to all the maritime islands right down to the south of Lau, up to Rotuma and various other places.
Consultations will begin in the Central and Western Division tomorrow, in the Eastern Division on June 29 and the Northern Division on July 9. Consultation times and venues will be updated on a weekly basis in the dailies.
We need to have a sort of a visionary plan and a specific short to medium term plan. As I said, when we go out and talk to development partners, when we talk to multilateral organizations, we can say, look, guys, we want this type of funding.
The Finance Ministry, which will be conducting the consultations, will be in Rewa and Aitasir in the Central Division, while another team will be in Andronga, Ba and Ra in the Western Division tomorrow. Akusita Talei, FBC News.
A commission of inquiry into Fiji by the International Labour Organization could have serious implications for the country. The Fiji Trades Union Congress is calling on all parties to honor the tripartite agreement signed in Geneva, which seeks to address decrees which affect workers' rights in the country. Eleanor Turangaivu has the story.
The International Labour Organization will decide in November whether to call a commission of inquiry into workers' affairs in the country. The Fiji Trades Union Congress believes government has the power to stop this from happening.
And as I've always said, we believe the ball's in government's court. It's up to them to ensure that they avoid a commission of inquiry. We're willing to cooperate on that front.
A commission of inquiry is the ILO's highest level investigative procedure that is generally set up when a member state is accused of committing persistent and serious violations and has repeatedly refused to address them.
I think Fiji is not held in very high esteem at the ILO currently for obvious reasons. This is going to damage the image of Fiji, and of course there will be serious implications on trade and on the economy itself.
Fiji has been a focus of attention by the ILO governing body in past years due to allegations of breaches of ILO Convention 87, the freedom on association and protection of the right to organize. Eleanor Turangaivu, FBC News.
Douglas Pharmaceutical, one of the fastest growing pharmaceutical development and manufacturing companies in Oceania, has extended its facility at Matintar Nandi. Douglas Pharmaceuticals Fiji Limited was established in Fiji in 1999. The Fiji facility currently produces hard gel capsules, tablets and powdered drugs. It also has a bottling line for packing of solid dosage forms for domestic and export market. Chief guest at the event, Attorney General Ayaz Sayed Qayyum, says such manufacturing is very critical to Fiji and government supports such initiatives.
I'm here to essentially confirm to them that the government is fully behind such investments. Government will fully support such investments and indeed look for new ways for them to further invest in Fiji and also try and use Douglas Pharmaceuticals as an ambassador for us to try and entice other pharmaceutical companies to come into Fiji.
Douglas Fiji entered the export market in 2001 and exports to Australia, Malaysia, Asia, New Zealand, South Africa, Hong Kong, Iran, Indonesia and Israel. Still to come on FBC News, reading and writing culture among younger generation diminishing.
So what was the question again? Oh, why is it called the traffic jam? Well, you know, the reason is, it's because I have two really cool cars. Seriously cool cars. And I love drifting, racing, because I am fast and slick, and plus I like to create a bit of traffic jam myself with a whole lot of great music. Bulumnaka, my name is Real, your host and DJ, right here on the Today FM Traffic Jam every weekday from 3 p.m. to 7. Right here on Today FM, today's hit music.
Welcome back, you're with FBC News. The Itoke culture and way of life is still strong in villages and communities in Fiji. Prime Minister Vorenge Bainimarama has reminded Fijians of how genuine and authentic the Itoke culture remains. Akusita Tale has more.
Our traditional ceremonies remain intact amongst the Itoke community. Prime Minister Vorenge Bainimarama highlighted the positive feedbacks received from ACP EU representatives that were in the country for the Joint Parliamentary Assembly. Bainimarama says many were moved by the power of the ceremonies.
Why do our traditional ceremonies carry so much power for people from other parts of the world? It is, of course, because of the bearing and the dignity of our people and the commanding nature of what they are saying, as we witnessed this morning. Outsiders can feel the spiritual power of what is happening, even if they don't understand the language.
All this was on display to the international visitors in Suva, who have taken with them memories of the Itoke culture and tradition.
I am convinced that it is worth coming to this country here to see not only the beauty of the country, but the resilience, determination, and friendliness of its people and the richness of its culture. All these are worth preserving.
Bainimarama says the Itoke culture is at the center of national life in Fiji.
Remember, many of these visitors are indigenous people themselves in some of their countries. Traditions are dying out. In some of their countries, traditions are dying out or are threatened. So, of course, they are deeply impressed that in Fiji, our Tauke traditions and way of life are not only intact but thriving. And because we feel secure, we have our land as well as our customs, which can never be taken away.
The Prime Minister has reminded Fijians there is no threat to the land, Itoke language and culture, as it's protected by the supreme law, the Constitution. Agosita Talei, FBC News.
Some renowned writers and authors in Fiji have raised concern on the lack of passion in reading among the younger generation and the less contemporary writers in the country. Shireen Lata has the story.
Local writers and authors believe that despite the high literacy rate, Fiji is not a very literary society. Devendran Kumaran, who has published 3 books, namely Manus Karma, A Hint of Blue and The Laxman Factor, says for the younger generation, the urge for reading is not the same as before.
The first reading material I ever got was my mother's vegetable market wrappers. Those were English papers, Australian papers, maybe overseas some papers. So these papers were used to wrap stuff, and we brought it home. So I wiped it, I cleaned it, and I put it under the bed, so that under the mattress, so that it got straightened, and I read them. That was my hunger for reading.
2015 Commonwealth Short Story Competition winner Mary Rokunandravu fears that due to this sort of attitude, writing is in a great danger of loss. Rokunandravu says Fiji has had writers in the past and those who continue to write, but they are not necessarily of the younger generation.
There's no consolidated, comprehensive writing that has emerged from at least us in Fiji or in the Pacific. But so my message to younger people, and especially to people who write and write in secret and don't share it, it's important to share.
According to both the writers, it's high time that elders motivate students.
I think it is a parental responsibility to raise that passion, to raise that urge in children to read.
The first thing is it's important to make a commitment to the craft. If you like telling stories, you like words, you like writing, it's important that you develop the craft. And the other thing is, if you're in school, to find teachers who support that in you.
Professor Subramani, a well-known intellectual who has written so many books, says diminishing reading and writing culture in Fiji is the single most important issue in the country. He is doing a major research with a team on the subject. Shireen Lata, FBC News.
Models who are part of Project Chechamon had a rehearsal today. Project Chechamon coordinator Andy Blake says the rehearsal is to give models a feel of the production and the style of the show. He says it is also an opportunity for the 24 models to interact. The show will be held on 4th July. Hundreds of people flocked to the Fiji Museum yesterday for its Open Day, celebrated alongside International Archives Day and International Music Day. There were food stalls, traditional cooking, demonstrations, children's mural painting as well as face painting. The Open Day also had performances from various music and dance groups, book displays by Library Services of Fiji and art exhibitions. A feature for the day was the fire walking ceremony by the Benga firewalkers. International Archives Day is celebrated to raise awareness of the general public and the decision makers about the importance of archives. Many young boys in Fiji dream of making it to the international rugby scene. In our Successful Fijian segment tonight, we will feature a Fiji-born rugby player famous for his outing for the All Blacks and the Auckland Blues.
Successful Fijians is brought to you by the Fiji Development Bank, your partner in progress.
Umaga and Rokotoko, the Rocket Man. He kept it in play. He needs the bounce. And you can shut the gate. There goes the winners Cup to 2005.
Joseph Talinga Rokodoko, famously known as Joe Rokodoko, is one of the lethal finishers, and combine his blistering speed with deceptive power, you get a devastating effect. Hailing from Yabusanya in Nandi, Rokodoko has always been passionate about rugby since his younger days.
Being grown up in Yabusanya since I was 5 years old before moving on to New Zealand, you always had a ball in the backyard with the cousins every time you met up. So I didn't really initially get into it until 10 years old when I first got involved with club rugby.
The rugby legend gives all the credit for his success so far to his parents for the sacrifices they made after the family moved to New Zealand in 1988.
Parents has always been full supportive in my rugby. You know what really, what's really fresh with me is under 21s, under 19s. When you travel to South America or when you travel to South Africa, obviously you're not working. You're a young kid, and I remember we used to have a curry night in Auckland, which we used to sell our roti curry dishes. And my family used to all sell it within the community in Auckland, the Fijians, and any money that was raised was my pocket money to travel to those small tours. So still thankful for it. There's little things that your parents or your family go through to make sure that you have something going overseas. Those are the fun memories that I take.
Rokodoko set the world stage alive with a total of 17 tries in 12 tests in 2003, a world record for calendar year, including hat-tricks against France and Australia.
Oh, it was an awesome, unreal feeling, to be honest. Like, I didn't actually know what my chances were going to be. But in saying that, I was just enjoying Super Rugby. We just won the title back then in 2003 with the Blues, and being selected and knowing that you're playing alongside some class players and the players that have played before you, and the jersey, the black jersey, that has so many history and the legacy that goes before it. To be a part of it was awesome, an unreal feeling, and not just for myself, for my family, for my village, for the people that have been so involved in my life.
Now playing for top 14 French-based rugby club Bayonne, the Rocketman says family time is important. Rokodoko is married to Beverly Politini and they have 3 sons. He makes sure he spends time with them when he is not playing.
My living is catching my kids running around the house. It's important to get that balance, I guess. Rugby is so full on at the moment in France. We start in pre-season at the end of this month in June, and we finish the first week of June the following year. So it's pretty much the whole year. So for the balance, for me, it's family time, and moving over to France has been so ideal for myself and my family, because you either be travelling the day before the game or day of the game. Well, in this Super Rugby, you'll be gone for a week, 2 weeks, end of the year tour, you'll be gone for a month.
Rokodoko advises young rugby players to never stop striving and play to the best of their abilities. He is currently taking a break from club duties and is in the country with his family. Josephine Vula, FBC News.
Coming up on FBC Sports, Suva qualifies for Champions League. And Team Fiji ready for Pacific Games.
Great words there from Lucky Dube and Babana. Hope you enjoyed that number. Different colors just for you on Gold FM. Only the classic hits. Louise with you on the Center Show. Well, thank you so much for the sweet company. This is Alana Miles, one of my favorites, and Black Velvet for you. Hi there. Join me on the Center Show every weekday from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. for the best sounds on Gold FM. Only the classic hits.
Welcome to FBC Sports. Now, the Vortex Suva side has qualified for the next year OFC Champions League. The side defeated Lautoka in a decisive match in the Rewa Galaxy Premier League this afternoon. Rohit Deo with the details.
Combined on the broadcast side, and they come with a switch along.
A lot was at stake when the teams from the 2 cities took to the field at Prince Charles Park in Nandi today. Although the Blues struck first, Suva had the final say.
As Lautoka come on to the attack on the broadcast touchline side, Dungudangi with a cross, a good one, and Pennyfi now with a header. And Pennyfi now has opened the account. This is out onto the byline, and he comes with a cross, a good one. And Puasambai Nivalu following through has equalized in the 32nd minute of play as Nikhil Chand races away. And Matthew was in an offside position. He should have been. Nikhil now turns in, and Nikhil comes in with a shot to seal it. And Nikhil Chand gets onto the scoreboard.
Suva officials are delighted with the result.
We came determined that we wanted to seal the victory today because we have got another game in hand, but we wanted to win today so that we don't play under pressure in the last game. And the boys, they really worked hard. And they really played well in the second half. I think we picked up, even though we were losing 1-0. They fought hard and scored three excellent goals.
Lautoka came so close to qualifying for the regional meet, but fell at the final stage. The Blues are impressed with their performance this season.
Actually, we started off very well and came in the last 20 minutes. The boys lost the plot. After one of our defenders got hurt, we had to change him. And when Suva scored the first goal, I think our boys didn't have the fighting spirit to come back and win the game.
Suva qualifies with league leaders Nandi to represent the country in the next year's meet. In other matches played today, Nandi defeated Bar 3-1, while Rewa thrashed Nanronga 4-0. Rohit Deo, FBC Sports.
The Fiji contingent to the Pacific Games is ready. Fiji is participating in 26 sports at the Games to be held in Papua New Guinea next month. Rohit Deo with the details.
Team Fiji is ready to deliver.
The challenges have been laid, not to other participating countries, but to Team Fiji athletes who have worked so hard to make it to the final teams.
You have worked really, really hard to sit on the seat you are sitting in right now. Team Fiji is ready to deliver. Team Fiji is ready to take the challenge to Papua New Guinea.
Fiji is known to have produced some of the best athletes in the world, and the Assistant Minister for Youth and Sports urged current athletes to continue the trend.
Fiji is known to be a country that produces many athletes and sportsmen in the region. I hope you will all carry on that tradition and our proud history. Be patriotic of your country and ensure that all the sweat and long hours of sacrifice pays off and reap reward for you, your coaches, trainers, sponsors, family and country.
Team Fiji will be represented by 359 athletes and 94 officials at the Games. The 2015 Pacific Games will be held from the 4th to the 18th of July. Rohit Deo, FBC Sports.
Vodafone Flying Fijians captain Akapu Singera launched his Q7 brand in Suva last night. The brand was launched by His Excellency Ratu Epeli Nailatikau, with majority overseas-based players attending the function to show their support. Ngera also launched short films that he hopes will rejuvenate the passion the Fijian players of the 1960s and 1970s had for rugby. Meanwhile, Ngera and the Flying Fijians go into camp from the 1st of July to prepare for Test match against the Maori All Blacks and the Pacific Nations Cup. Fijian flyer Waisake Naholo has been selected in the 41-member All Blacks extended squad for the Rugby World Cup, which was named today. Naholo is the only Fijian in the squad, which has 4 more names that have been named for the first time. Crusaders and Canterbury hooker Cody Taylor, Hurricanes and Taranaki lock James Broadhurst, Highlanders and Southland first 5'8" Lima Sopoanga, and Hurricanes and Manawatu fullback Nehe Milnaskara are the other new faces, including Naholo. Well, in today's weather, brief showers with windy conditions were observed over certain parts of the country. A trough extends from Solomon Islands towards Vanuatu. Another trough extends from Tuvalu to Samoa to Cook Islands. In temperatures, Lambasa was the warmest today at 29 degrees. Bar recorded 28 degrees and all other centers had the lowest, 27 degrees. For tomorrow, there should be showers over most places in the afternoon. As for the further outlook, occasional showers over most places. Now the main points again. Fiji Airways flight delays causes frustration and disappointment. Consultations on development plans to start tomorrow. And FTUC says Commission of Inquiry into Fiji will have serious consequences. On to our poll question. Should fines for traffic offences be increased? You can visit our FBC website to take part. Now you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email at citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via our Facebook page FBC News. If you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC News or #FBC News. You've been watching FBC News. I'm Amrita Priyadarshini. Good night.